Hey everybody, welcome back to the Airsoftology Monday Q&A show, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and is also feeling fantastic. Actually, better this week. I was definitely under the weather last week, but so much better this week. Welcome back to the show. This is your show. It comes from your questions down in the comment section below. Vote up your favorites every single week, and I will also dig deep. Not always the highest ones. I try to pick the highest ones, but also try to dig deep into the catalog to get some good ones that may be buried down there. Anyway, welcome back to the show. By the way, if you want to support the show, you can always go check out the web store. Links in the corner here. I sell patches, custom patches I make, and they're up there free shipping worldwide. So that's really cool. You can get them anywhere, same price no matter where you live. They come from right here in Taiwan to you, packed by me, actually. That is it going on. I'm not going to really keep you guys here too much longer. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to jump to a question, timestamps are below as well. Anyway, let's dive on into what you're really here for. It's your questions in the Tippmann mail call. Jake Stoll writes, what are your thoughts on lowering FPS and allowing full auto at fields? Now this is something I actually experienced a couple weeks ago when I went to North Carolina and I went to the event out there at Black Ops Paintball. They actually had a specific class. I actually got qualified for that class, which is pretty cool because I was shooting much lower power. It was down well below, it was like kind of Tokyo Marui power levels. A little King Arms submachine gun. You guys will see the video coming up very soon. I'm putting the gameplay together right now. That's right. There's going to be gameplay on my channel again. I do play. Yeah, you like that. Just get in there. But they had a class that if you were below a certain FPS, you could go full auto. And you could blast people full auto because I think it was like sub 1 joule or right at 1 joule level. It was really low power level. The gun I was using actually passed that. And so I didn't use it much. I'm like a semi-auto kind of guy. That's kind of like my thing. But it allowed you to do that and have that feature. I like it. I know Jet is doing that at some of his games with the Desert Fox events. They have a SMG class where if you can power down your gun, you can run a huge box mag on it. You can go full auto, and it's kind of like this SMG or submachine gun class. It gives you kind of like a unique option. Of course, you don't have the range that you're going to have with anything bigger, but because that's your class, you can go in and clear rooms. That's your job. So if you're more of a CQB type of person, that gives you the ability to do that and have a tactical advantage when you go to room clear over the other classes that might be riflemen or designated marksmen or sniper or light machine gunners like saw gunners that have more range. It kind of adds some variety. So I love this idea. I think it's fantastic. I'd love to see more fields doing it, maybe a different tag. So when people get, oh, I got lid full, oh, that guy's allowed to do that because he's the SMG class. Also, I do like to play at different power levels. I do like to play, outdoors at maybe some higher levels so you get some advantage for range. But I think indoors, for me, the more I mature in my airsoft career, I guess you want to call it that, I think that now that I've played in Japan, the lower levels allow for more players to come in, have a good experience the first time they play, and come back for more. So I welcome lower power levels, give it an advantage, of course, as well, like full auto. In Japan, they hose down full auto too. But when you do get hit, it doesn't really hurt that bad. So you're like, oh, that was fun. Oh, it was super exciting. And I definitely want to come back. And you'll see more players, younger players, female players, all types of players wanting to come back and play. And I think that's what Japan does so well, at least with me now going in Japan and seeing airsoft for a few times now. So all in all, I love it. I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to see more fields instituted. Mark Lizza writes, have you heard of anyone using a 3D printer to make custom parts? I absolutely love the Lithgow F90 and would love to see it as an airsoft variant, but I can't imagine any companies retooling to manufacture such a rifle. I'm wondering whether the stock can be 3D printed and the rest coming from an AUG A3. I just happen to know someone that might be pretty good with that. I've recommended him actually quite a few times on the channel here. If you guys don't know who he is, definitely worth checking out this guy's, everything he does. His YouTube channel, his Instagram, and his web store. It's Brain Exploder Creations, Brain Exploder Creations. Use my words. He is a wizard when it comes to this. He's the guy that made the GoPro mount. He's the guy that makes those forward or reverse cam mounts that look like a PEC box. I mean, and he does some cool 3D printed parts even for an AUG. So I think if there's anyone out there that's up for the challenge for something like this, he is going to be high on the list. Also, somebody else I think that does some pretty cool airsoft futuristic stuff. It's not 3D printed, but he actually goes full production, is Helix Airsoft. You guys don't know, Helix Airsoft's out of Minnesota. They're kind of a small but not small importer, distributor, and custom, they kind of do custom airsoft. They source in Asia, they source everywhere, and they do the design work in the United States. Very cool stuff. They got some cool suppressors. I've highlighted some of their stuff on the channel before a long time ago. I think they are probably someone who would be kind of right for that. The problem is when you go to full production, and you know it too, like we say in 3D printed here, when you get the tooling, you have to have a market. I mean, you really have to have a market, like enough people that want to buy it to pay for the tools. They're expensive. I'm talking cost of a car or more expensive. So yeah, I think 3D printing is the way to go. But I think some of these shops, these boutiques, definitely could pull it off. I mean, not just what you're looking at with the Lithgow F90, but a lot of these others. In fact, last week, you guys, I asked you what your favorite movie guns were, and I think a lot of you guys dug into video games and into like anime, and I love that too. That's cool. I mean, I'm totally digging it. There's a lot of things going, yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, that'd be great too. So yeah, I think that's something maybe that I'd love to see a shop kind of get into this. Might be a little bit on the premium side, but definitely cool nonetheless. Draga Airsoft writes a pretty big one here. Hey Jonathan, here's my question. I released a review of my Tokyo Marui HK416 recoil last week, and some interesting discussion came up through the Facebook comments. As a stock gun, based on my test, it was an okay rifle, but it didn't live up to the hype of the TM fan club without upgrading, and isn't necessarily worth the cost for new players. As a fellow reviewer, how do you balance the reputation of a gun against the reality of the one you're testing, especially if the gun isn't bad, just uninspiring? So as a reviewer, this is my biggest thing. I know you guys ask me this, because I do this, but my core, like what I've always done is reviewed products. You go on my channel, there's more review videos than anything I do out there. I think the secret to review, and then I'll dive into the specifics of this one, is you have to look at it through the eyes of someone that is not maybe as jaded as I am or Draga you are. By the way, I know Draga. I've known him for years and years and years. Fantastic reviewer. You guys don't know, check out his channel. It's awesome stuff. Like, he's got some crazy videos, like a million view videos that are awesome. Like, definitely worth a watch. Super shameless plug here for him. But I think it's the perspective. You have to go in and look at it. Now, I agree with you. Like, I actually used the Tokyo Marui recoil. I actually had a chance to shoot it and use it. And my first impression was, you know what, this is pretty darn cool. I love the kick, I love all this, but that price point, it is way up there. And it really is. I think it was like 500 or 600 US dollars. It was crazy. It was like, I was in Japan, so it's like 56,000 yen. I forget. It was some crazy amount. I don't know, 5 or 60,000 yen. Whatever it was, it factored out to be almost $600 US. And then there's the proprietary nature of the parts and all this stuff. So when you do upgrade, you got to put your money into it using just the specific parts, some of them for that platform. So I kind of agree with you. It's kind of like, it's good, but at the price. But remember, when you review, you can't always judge on price. Like, my budget, like if I'm going, man, I only have $200 to spend on a gun, you know, then you're only looking at that range. You want to know what's good in that band. Some people might have like, oh man, I got $1,000 to drop on a gun, $1,000 US, no problem. So 600 may not be too much. So you can't go, well, it's good, but it's really expensive. Well, it might be expensive for me, but it may not be expensive for you, depending on how you look at it. I think there's a lot of ways. So what I try to do is put myself in the perspective on that side of the screen, not this side of the screen. And I think that kind of helps open up. In a case like that, present the facts. You can always present your opinions. I always try to do that, my thoughts and opinions, a little bit in every single review. Try to lay out the facts and then let the people make their own decision. Let you guys make your own decision. That's what I look at when I do reviews. It's kind of like more neutral if I possibly can. Of course, it's always going to be tinged with your personal preference. But overall, when I go at it that way, I find that the review comes out more genuine, more honest, and also is there to give the information, maybe a buying decision for whoever's out there watching the video. So my advice to you and anybody who wants to get into reviewing airsoft products is try to take that approach. It's something that took me a very long time to learn. So if you can jump in there, you'll have a huge advantage, way over me, and kind of look at it that way. And I think you're gonna start pumping out some good stuff if you look at it that way. All right, that's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one, every month or so, I tend to call like an audible, like where I say, okay, I'm gonna jump in this one. This is a great video. I just clicking through YouTube on my phone, I watch, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this one, but if you haven't, it's definitely worth it. This one has like 85,000 views at the time of me telling you about it, which is actually kind of low for this channel because it's coming from Jet DesertFoxAirsoft. I'm sure you guys know who he is, and some people love him, and I know he can be polarizing at times. You know, people like, oh yes, but I will tell you this: knowing him for a very long time, he is a good guy, and he is a great player. I really wish I could play as good as him, and this video absolutely, positively shows how good of a player he is. This is an 87-player kill streak that was only interrupted by a ceasefire. That was it. So I like blew my mind. I mean, obviously he was at one of the largest games in SoCal in a smaller field for the number of people that were there. He was at SC Village, but still to stay alive that long. Also, him helping the other players with him, maybe less experienced players, maybe not as seasoned as him. I think overall this is what I love to see on YouTube when it comes to airsoft videos. It's a good message, it's positive, it shows somebody who's playing awesome, and it's all one take. There's a few cuts at the end, but definitely not a cut. Like, I don't want to give it away, because you definitely want to watch this. This one is worth the watch. I don't want to give it away, but the cuts were necessary to kind of show different angles and things like that. But aside from that, I think it's awesome. It's an amazing, and I just like, I wish I had a moment like this. I've had some good kill streaks, but never, ever, ever one like this. This is a mean one, and I love it. Very great playing. People are calling their hits. Again, just shows everything positive about how airsoft is. And I think we need more videos like this on YouTube out there to help spread the word about our sport and our hobby and grow it for everybody. So anyway, that's my recommendation. Definitely, if you guys don't follow Jet, subscribe to him. He's like millions of subscribers. Definitely mash the sub button over there. But otherwise, definitely worth watching this video if it didn't pop up on your subscriber list. Also, if you have a video you want to share, including one from your own channel, please put it down in the comment section below. Vote up your favorites, and I will try my best to get it on the next show. Be persistent. If I don't get you this week, some of the times it's taking me 3, 4, 5, even 6 or 7 weeks to get to a video I really like, but I do it. So please be persistent. Keep putting them on there every single week. So anyways, until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun. Don't forget to check out the web store to support the channel if you guys are into collecting morale patches. And no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.